Listen, I'm about to say something that most pest control companies need to hear, and that is this. Pest control really needs to start charging for our inspections. We've got to quit giving them away for free. Because the moment you make your inspection free, you start the training process with your customer to think that your expertise either has low value or no value whatsoever. When that happens, your findings are going to be optional, your recommendations are going to feel like they're too much, and your price is going to be really hard to negotiate. So join me today and let's talk about it. Welcome back to Pest Profits. Welcome back to Pest Profits podcast. Pest Assassin is the company I own. But welcome back to Pest Profits podcast, where we help pest control operators, companies, technicians make more money in less time. And so, listen, too many companies are just handing out inspections like as though they're just trying to get their foot in the door, like they're just so desperate to get their foot in the door. But that inspection is not your foot in the door, right? That inspection is a full-on professional walking through the door, spending their time, they have the ability to see things that the customer cannot see. They have the ability to identify the problem that the customer doesn't have. They've got an ability to evaluate the risk of different types of treatment options. Listen, those are the foundations for a right recommendation. That's who's coming through that door, right? Listen, when you give them that for free, you're making it harder for the customer to really respect the rest of the process. And so we've got to shift this thing in our industry, in my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but free inspections create cheap expectations, right? So listen, this is not about whether the price of the job is too high. What we've been talking about for the last few weeks, in fact, this is the final in that series of what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks, about right how to increase your profit. But here's what it's really about. Are we accidentally teaching our market that what we do isn't worth that much, right? Our inspections, our findings, our recommendations. Listen, if you don't purchase from me, you don't owe me anything. Well, no, right? I walked through the door. I told you where the problem was. I told you why the problem was. I told you how to fix this problem. And now you just want to go out and price shop the recommendations that I already gave you? Like, right? We've got to stop doing that kind of stuff. My position is really simply this. As pest control companies and as pest control professionals, we need to charge for our inspections because we have a very real expertise. And we should treat our expertise like it is an expertise and not like it's a giveaway. Now, when I started in this industry, that's all that we got talked to about. In every one of our meetings, we were constantly talked to about the fact that we needed to be professionals. We were the expert. When we walked into a situation, right, you needed to know what you were looking at, know how to treat it, know what was going on with the situation. And I know we've got away from that, and we ended up with a bunch of what we call in our industry, right, spray jockeys. And now we have an industry where we don't get paid for anything except for the application of product. But that is a bad way of doing business. And if your customer understands that, listen, this inspection is worth something, my findings are worth something, the recommendations that I'm making to you are worth something, then when it comes down to having that conversation around price, all of a sudden that's worth something too. How do you get somebody to pay you, $150, $200 for a one-time service when in their mind all you did was show up and spray a product because you gave the inspection away for free? They don't see the inspection as a part of that one time because you didn't charge them for that. Where if you went, whatever your one-time price is, let's, for the sake of argument in this case, we're going to say it's $225. Your one-time price is $225. You walk through the door and you say, listen, it's It's $125 for me to come out and take a look, right? If you go with me, then I take that off of the price of the treatment that I provide, right? And don't dial up the price of the, right? We've all had that experience where somebody said, yeah, they're going to do something for free, and then as soon as they give you their price is the price it was always going to be plus the inspection, right? We don't need to do that in order to add value, right? You can tell them right out of the gate, listen, usually I charge $225 for a one-time treatment, but let me come out and take a look at it. It's $125 for me to come out and do the inspection, tell you exactly what's going on and exactly what needs to be done. Worst case scenario, right? It's going to be it'll just be the inspection fee, right? But we're going to take care of it for you, right? Well, then that extra $100 isn't going to seem, right, like a big stretch to them. But when you walk through the door, you do the inspection for free, and now you're asking for $200 to go and treat their house. Well, of course they're going like, whoa, 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 right? Why? Because you already did half the job for free, right? We've got to stop doing that. And so, listen, we've got to charge for the inspection, because charging for the inspection is what helps your customer to see the value, not just of the inspection, but it helps them to see the value of you or the treatment that you are going to provide for them, right? And so, listen, I could go over a bunch of different things within this arena, but think about the last 10 jobs that you've done, the last 10 inspections that you've gone out on. How many of them did you get? Right? And how much time did you spend doing those inspections to not get those jobs? Right? Listen, so we need to very clearly explain what's going to happen when, right? Listen, I'm going to come out, I'm going to do a thorough inspection for you so that you know everything that's going on your property, so that we can address all of these things under the price of that initial service, or the price of that one-time service. I'm going to show you exactly what I find on your property, so that you know that, right, that I'm not making stuff up, that this is exactly what I found, right? And then I'm going to make these recommendations to you. I'm going to tell you, listen, here's what I would recommend that you do. In this case, maybe, right, one-time service will do the job for you. Maybe a one-time service isn't what you need. Maybe what you need is a reoccurring service. Right? And maybe that reoccurring service should be monthly. If it's, there are things that need to be treated monthly. There's other things that can be treated, right, every other month. I'm not a big fan of quarterly service, but right, or quarterly service if that's your thing, right? And then connecting those recommendations to the findings, right? I'm making this recommendation because here's what I found, right? Listen, if you're doing that, then the inspection shouldn't be free. Right? I mean, the customer is going to look at that and they're going to say, oh, I got you, right? Like, this guy came out to my house. I mean, he's doing some work here. Right? Here's what happens when we give away our inspections for free. You know this, I know this. Let's be honest about it. What happens when we give our inspections away for free is we show up, we ask them what the problem that they're having is, right? We may or may not even pull our flashlight out, and then we say, well, here's what your issue is, right? And it's X amount of dollars. We do a crap inspection if we do any inspection whatsoever. We just throw a price out because we don't want to waste our time. And we're only wasting our time because we're giving the inspection away for free. And if you are a manager for a pest control company, you're sending guys out to do free inspections, I'm telling you right now, that's exactly what those guys are doing. You know it, I know it. I was a manager for a big company too. Listen, are you giving your expertise away for free? That's all I'm asking you. Do you really think that your expertise is worth so little that you should give it away at absolutely no charge? Right? I really do think that pest control companies have got to stop giving away inspections for free. Because free inspections, they may feel like a way for you to get more appointments with people, get in front of more people, but that free inspection is putting you in a weak position right out of the gate. And what's happening is it's putting you in a weak position. It's putting you in front of price shoppers for the most part, and you're dealing with a lot of professionals that don't deserve the same respect that you deserve. And so you're competing with guys you shouldn't be competing with because they're not even on your level. You're in front of people that are intending to buy from whoever is the cheapest, never intended to buy from the best, and your position was weakened from the get-go. Like, it's a mess, right? I mean, honestly, it's a mess. We're putting ourselves in the middle of mess. When we charge for that inspection, what you're telling the customer is, A, I'm not going to show up and just casually glance at your problem. I'm going to actually do a real inspection. I'm really going to give you findings. I'm really going to give you recommendations, right? I'm an expert, and I'm going to give you an expert evaluation of what is happening on your property so that you can make the best decision for you. And if the customer says, well, I got this other guy that's going to come out for free. Well, sounds good. We all know how many quality things we've got in life that were free. I mean, we all know the best steak is free. We all know the best hotel in town is free. We all drive the best free cars. Right? No, that's not the way it works. You know it, I know it. We got to stop giving stuff away for free. Right? Free inspections, while you think that it's helping you to get in front of more people, and you've got the same problem I have, right? You've got a big ego, and you're convinced that if you could just get in front of them, you can sell them, right? And then you walk away without the sale, and you're pissed because they wasted your time. Was it the customer's fault, or was it your fault? Were you just in front of the wrong customer to begin with? Probably, right? Listen, when customers understand that they are paying for a professional, an expert to come out to their property and provide them with findings and recommendations, that carries weight. And that's what charging for that inspection is going to do for you, right? We're charging for our expertise, not just for the treatment. When they don't pay for your expertise, it's hard to get them to pay for the treatment, right? So listen, I don't think that pest control should keep racing to the bottom, right? Pest control operators we've got to quit racing to be the cheapest. It's out of control. Listen, I've been in the position when I started my company where I did that too, right? I just needed sales. I just needed somebody to say yes, and so I just wanted to get in front of you. And in the last video, by the way, I gave you recommendations for discounting and proper ways to discount. And like, if you want to discount things, that's fine, but discount them properly. Even if you want to discount your inspection fee, don't discount it with no work. If you're going to discount your inspection fee, discount it with the work. Yeah, listen, even if you want to do, let's say that you're doing your one times for $125. You think I'm crazy at $225. That's fine. So you're doing your one times at $125, right? At the very least, right? Hey, listen, right? My inspection fee is, $75, $80. And I'll come out and take a look. Let's see what you need. Let's see what the best recommendations I can make for you are. And then if you decide to go with me, usually my one-time fee is $125, so it'll only be about $45 more if that's the direction that you choose to go. Right? That's a big freaking deal, right? Unless, of course, I find something like termites on your property. Bees usually tend to be a different type of a charge, and bed bugs. But aside from that, right, everything else should be covered under that with that $125. And we're going to make sure that we treat for everything you're having on your property because we're going to do a proper inspection. Right? Listen, you're giving yourself weight before you ever show up on their property. If they say, no, I just have a spider problem, that's all I care about, and I got 3 other guys coming for free. Well, hey, listen, I hope one of those free guys works out for you. Right? You're going to pay for the inspection. You're just going to end up paying for it when you hire whoever you hire. Right? You know that. I know that. Right? We need to start presenting ourselves in a much better light, in a much more professional light, right? We need to clearly explain what we find, right? Don't just go inspect, here's the price. No, right? Here's what I found. You wouldn't have a problem showing them what you found if you weren't doing it for free, right? I've done inspections for property managers for free, went out, did an inspection, told them, hey, there's some holes that you need to seal up because of the rodent problem that you're having. Well, can you show us where those are? Yeah, for $150. I mean, I just went out there. I'm the one that knows where they're at. I know what it looks like, right? I've even provided pictures in such a way that you couldn't tell where those places were at on your property, right? Because I'm trying to protect my expertise. But listen, if I charged for that inspection in the first place, then I would have, right? I would have had no problem providing, yeah, here's all my findings, here's my recommendations, right? Here's my price for the recommendations I'm giving you. But if you choose to go with somebody else, that's fine. Because why? Because I made my money on my inspection fee. Obviously, I want the exclusion work. That's way more money. But if I made my money on my inspection fee, I don't have a problem with providing you with my findings and my recommendations. And that's the way we've got to think about this. Because listen, when you give that inspection away for free, you have made yourself of lesser value right out of the gate, if not of no value whatsoever. So listen, when you charge, whatever you charge for, when you charge for something, you present it better, right? You are elevating your service. You elevate the way that you're doing the inspection when you know that they're paying for it. All right, if I give away a free termite inspection, I'm going to go to the spot where you think you have termites, take a look, tell you whether they're there or not. If I charge you for that termite inspection, I'm going to crawl through your attic. I'm going to walk all around the house. I'm going to poke your eaves. I'm going to check every windowsill. I'm going to do a whole different thing. And you can sit there as a pest control guy watching this and say to yourself, well, you know, I give away free inspections. I do the full meal deal. You're full of it. That's what you are. You're a liar. Right? Maybe nobody else around you is willing to tell you. I'll tell you. Doesn't bother me. My channel's small enough to where it won't make a difference. So listen, this is where the battlefield is. It's not your price versus what the customer thinks they should pay. It's your price versus the vague way that we are presenting ourselves and the vagueness of the value of what we do. That's really where the problem's coming in. So listen, stop giving away inspections for free. Right? We've got to pull ourselves up, right? Make ourselves professionals again, right? A lot of pest control companies think that you're a professional because you wear a tie. You know, and so they make their technicians wear ties, which is retarded. That doesn't make you a professional. What makes you a professional is how do you present yourself when you go out? What kind of an inspection are you doing, right? And where are you presenting them with the value of what you do? Zig Ziglar made a lot of quotes over his time, right, as a sales expert. But right, Zig Ziglar, if you read his books, right, he's all about that value, right? Presenting, listen, when people see your value, they're willing to pay you. Our problem isn't that people don't see our value, it's that how could they see our value? When we present ourselves as, well, you know, I'm the cheapest guy and I'm going to come out and do your inspection for free and I'm going to do this for the absolute minimum. Like, what? Like, there's no value in that, right? Maybe you are cheaper than everybody else, but if you're good at what you do and you feel like, right, that you're charging a fair price, that's fine. But, man, know that present yourself with value. I know I'm not the cheapest. I also know I'm not the most expensive. I bounce around somewhere right around in the middle, and I know, right, that puts me in with a lot of competition. And I've heard all the experts say, right, either be the most expensive guy or the cheapest guy. It's your choice. Otherwise, you're just competing with everybody in the middle. I do understand that. I'm not. My problem is I don't have the ability to charge more than I think something is worth, but I also don't have the ability to charge less than I think it's worth. And so we've got to present ourselves. We've got to present this thing of like, hey, I'm going to come out and take a look. I'm really going to take a look, though. Right? You may have lined up 4 inspections today at your house, ma'am, or sir. Right? You may have lined up, 4 different inspectors to come out, or 4 different companies to come out and give you a price. The guy that's giving you a price over the phone, he doesn't know what's happening on your property. He's just giving you a generic price. I'm going to come out, I'm going to take a look, I'm going to give you a tailored price. My prices range right in here, right? Worst case scenario, best case scenario. This is where my prices range. I charge X amount for the inspection. If you do the work with me, that comes out of, right, this pricing. And so, right, when you present it like that, if the customer is looking for the best person for the job, they are looking for that value, they're going to see you as their most valuable option. Listen, that's the way we need to present ourselves. I appreciate you joining me on Pest Profits today. I hope this has been a help to you. If it has, like, subscribe, and share, and let's build our profits together. Have a great day.